back. What's up, YouTube? So, I got a house. Didn't take too long, but first couple days were spent unpacking everything else in the house, and now it's time to move on to the garage. So as you can see, it is a 2-car garage that right now it is not an effective workspace. Step one, the movers are going to come back and get this pile of bullshit, empty boxes. But we need storage for all the different things, including the woodworking tools. I do a bit of woodworking, and one of the things that I saw on YouTube was to make flip top workstations. So something like drill press down there, and say the planer or the chop saw or the miter saw, something like that. 2 tools can be mounted to the same workbench, and then you flip the top to use the tool that you want. You're able to store this twice number of tools in one space, making it more efficient. Next is either, I already got the shelves put together, to figure out if I'm either going to use these or build something, and my thought was to hang it from the top of the ceiling, but I don't know. Once I free up some space after getting some of these things built, we'll readdress the storage or the shelving, either these plastic ones that I had in the old garage or starting off. But the first thing, before I can even start on making the flip top deal, is to get dust collection. Because when I would work in my last house, either in the garage or out in the sunroom, I made a god-awful mess with all the sawdust. So step one is to build a cart for that. Now, if you guys haven't seen this type of deal before, the shop vacs used to create suction. This Home Depot bucket with, they call it Dust Deputy on top. This goes to the tool that you're working on, and then it separates the sawdust and the big chips before it goes into the shop vac. The result is you have a bucket that's easily cleaned out versus dumping out the shop vac. And the shop vac still functions as a regular wet dry deal. So I'm going to go ahead and get started on that. right, so and like that, dust collector cart's done. I'm gonna get the other sheet of ply in here and start breaking that down to make the flip top work table. But as you can see, it's simple but effective. I need to look into getting some adapters to go from the hose to the tools. The port on the back here of the miter saw and the table saw were just a hair too big, and it worked. The table saw made less mess than it used to. Miter saws always make a mess just because of the design of them. But all right, that being said, we're gonna go ahead and move forward. So the design that I'm going with here, I got from Fix This Build That on YouTube. The basic design has been ripped off by, I don't know, countless guys on YouTube. They all claim it to be their own design, but when you look at them, they all look exactly like the guy from Fix This Build That. So I bought the plans from him. They cost like $9. It was well worth it. It came with a cut list, so it made this whole deal a lot easier to go with as I started. Up in the corner, I'm gonna drop the link to the Fix This Build That video where I took the inspiration and ultimately bought the plans for his design.
So in this shot, or this clip rather, I'm working on the ceiling shelves. And that's an idea that I got from Johnny over at Crafted Workshop, and I modified his design a little bit. For one, he hung the shelves on 3 of the 4 walls in his garage. Now, I wasn't able to do this because of space constraints, mostly hanging the kayaks so they would be up out of the way, and the narrow walls on both sides. I only have about a foot between the garage door and the wall. Now, another reason why I had to change the design slightly was the ceiling joists are running parallel with that wall, and they're about 24 inches on center, so I wasn't able to do the 2-foot deep spacing like I wanted. Instead, I had to change the design a little bit and go with 36 inch deep. But it still worked out. I was still able to get the big totes that I wanted up there. Alright, now that I'm starting to hang the meat and potatoes, or the bones of the shelf up there, it's nothing more than 2x4s on the ceiling and that on the back wall, and then again on the very bottom to give the 1/2-inch plywood a lip or a shelf to bite onto. Everything is screwed and glued, and it's held up pretty well. It's fairly strong. That last one, hanger, I guess if we could give it a name, split when I was driving in that last screw. The hangers are the same 2x4 studs ripped down to about 1.5 by 1.5 inches. So for the glue for all of this, I'm using Titebond 3 for no particular reason other than I had it left over from last year or year and a half ago, somewhere around there. I made a bunch of cutting boards for myself. I gave some away as gifts, and then some people bought some, and I just had it left over, so I figured why not use it. It has a long setup time, it's waterproof, works great for cutting boards, and it also works out great for garage furniture. Right now in here you can see that I'm starting to cut down this 4x8 sheet of plywood to about 36 inch or 3 foot by 8 foot, and then glued and screwed up onto the top, and then start loading the bins up onto there. Check out in the upper corner, and I'll drop a link to the video over on Crafted Workshop as well. I'm going to put both links for both videos, this and the flip top cart, down in the description. If you're interested in the ideas or plans or whatever for the dust collection cart, I didn't have any. I just got the idea off of watching several YouTube videos about the matter. So these shop lights I bought at Lowe's a few years ago. They've been in the house that I had in Louisiana as well as the house that I had in Georgia. They're 4-foot LED shop lights. They work really well. I have 4 of them. Nothing too special about the install. I just found the ceiling joists in and then started to hang them after I screwed the eye hooks in there and attached the chains.
Alright, so I'm going to wrap up this video here. I showed you making the dust collection cart, one of the 3 flip-top tool carts, the shelves, and then I hung the lights. So, as I was unpacking, I found some of this hair gel, I think. It says Gorilla on it. I don't know if anybody's got any recommendations on it, how it worked out for them. Let me know. But got these 2 out here in the driveway. But as you can see, I got kayaks hung up. I didn't really show too much of that. It wasn't anything special. Just finding the joists up in the ceiling and running those hooks in and then ratchet strapping them up. But as you can see, I've got quite a bit of this mess all cleared out, and a lot of things are in their places. Just a little bit more left to go, and like hanging these banners, drag week poster, and some more of that, and see if I can't get the old tow pig into a garage for the first time since I've owned her. But that's a wrap. Let me know if there's anything else y'all want to see. All right, go ahead and like, share, subscribe. Subscribe to my premium Snapchat, my OnlyFans. All right, it's a real weird deal. For some reason, my subscribers pay me to keep my clothes on. All right, so let's wrap this up. So first off, everything is indeed better in Texas. Second off, the weather's been pretty good. I am in Texas, and we did get snow last Sunday. We got about 4 inches, but unlike some of the other parts, I never lost power. I never lost water. Never had any of that stuff like what Christina over at Only Boosted or Mitch Stapleton have been sharing on their pages. Today was mid-70s while I was working out in the garage, so not too bad. And get the garage wrapped up and get started back on car things. So with that being said, pour up something to proof and wash your hands. Good night.